Hi, Captain Steve for BoatTEST.com, and today I am going to do a performance evaluation and sea trial of a nice boat from CL Yachts, the CLB72. Now this is very much an owner-operator's boat, so I'm going to go through this boat with the intention of looking at it from the perspective of an owner-operator. First of all, I need to explain that this is powered by the Volvo Penta IPS 1350s, 1,000 horsepower each. And Volvo Penta likes to cover everything from top to bottom, including the interceptor tabs. That means they also have the Garmin Screens that are interfacing with the entire system. So, at the top of the panel are two large Garmin displays. There's a compass right on top of the panel, directly in line with the steering wheel. A C-zone control pad that's controlling all of the electronics and monitoring all of your tanks. Remote control for the spotlight. Windlass control. Now, some people like to have the bow thruster even with IPS, some don't. We'll get underway and see how it works both ways and let you decide. There's a Garmin multifunction display. Horn right smack in the middle of the panel. I like that positioning. Digital controls. Ignition start stops. VHF. Going over to the other side, another VHF. Steering wheel mounted to a fixed base. Two generator controls. And the electronics are controlled by a remote on the left-hand side of the armrest. And we've got the IPS joystick on the right-hand side. All of this is attached to a STID helm seat, which is adjustable fore and aft, up and down, and it even includes recline. The armrests are flip up and down, and there's a flip footrest. Of course, one of my favorite features, a waterproof door giving us access to the side deck. Just behind the helm, at the galley island, main breaker panel, 120 volt to one side, 24 volt to the other. The flybridge helm equally laid out, twin large displays to either side of the compass that is flush mounted into the dash. Volvo Penta ignitions with the horn just behind. Fusion stereo, windlass controls, spotlight control. Again, the thruster, digital engine controls, VHF. Down below, another VHF. Steering wheel, this time it is mounted to a tilt base. And then behind, STID helm seat, again, with the forward display controls to one armrest and the IPS joystick to the other. And now we have an observer seat, also a STID helm seat. Both have flip footrests and flip armrests and are fully adjustable, including recline. All this is under the protection of the overhead 6 feet 9 inches off the deck. In each quarter of the aft deck, heavy-duty rollers surrounded by stainless steel. Look at the size of these cleats. Big drains at the aft deck. Opening side door. Joystick control station. This is on both sides. And now, let's take a look at the ground tackle. Notice as we make our way forward, cleats are located in the center of the hawse holes. I like that arrangement. There's a hatch leading to storage, and underneath the storage is road access. Right alongside is a freshwater washdown, chain stopper, swivel leading to a 50-kilogram claw anchor that's going through the stem. Both sides, again, cleats mounted into the hawse holes. I like that arrangement. Foot controls are over to the starboard side. Now, as you walk down the port side deck, there's an entrance to the crew quarter right here at the port side, but there's also another entrance at the engine room. Let's take a look at that first. And the engine room is accessed right here from the transom. First of all, a well laid out and spacious engine room. 5 feet 11 inches of overhead clearance, 42 inches between the two rails. Let's start over on the port side and work our way right around. In the corner I see the hot water tank, fire suppression system, Dometic air conditioning system, and notice how they're all labeled. Aft crew cabin, port twin cabin, salon, galley, lower helm. I mean, everything is labeled so nice and neatly. 1,000 horsepower IPS 1350 engines. One over to the other side, obviously, and the IPS pod connected directly to the engine. No need for jack shafts. Again, to the forward part, a generator, one to port and one to starboard. These are automatically activated when the load increases. Electrical systems, both sides of the engine room. More Dometic systems, forward VIP cabin, starboard twin cabin, master cabin. Right here, The boat is pre-wired and pre-plumbed for a water maker. These are the support stanchions for the awnings that will go up on the bow, the aft end of the flybridge, and another one for the swim platform. Now, as we came down the side deck, I said that we had access to the crew cabin and another access right here. This is the entrance. Let's take a look. Now, because this is an owner-operator's boat, we don't need to have the crew completely separated with galley and the whole works, but there are some nice features in here, over-under berths and ahead with a separate walk-in shower. And here's the entrance to the side deck that we talked about earlier. There's also a TV in the bulkhead and room for a microwave and refrigerator if you'd like. I gotta tell you, bringing this boat out just on the IPS without the bow thruster, I thought I was gonna need the thruster, but turns out I did not. It's remarkably easy to handle. For an owner-operator, this is an ideal boat. It really is. And I'm just bringing it down the tight confines of this river here, just on the joystick. But for the person who wants to use the bow thruster, it's still there.
The CL Yachts CLB72 has a length overall of 76 feet 11 inches, a beam of 19 feet 10 inches, and a draft of 5 feet. With the twin 1,000 horsepower Volvo Penta IPS 1350 engines run up to 2470 RPM, our speed topped out at 30.1 knots. As is typical with IPS-powered boats, there really is no best cruise as the range increases fairly linearly as the power is reduced. But there does seem to be a sweet spot between performance and handling right at 2,000 RPM. At that speed, the 63-gallon-per-hour fuel burn produces a range of 382.4 nautical miles. Now, if distance is the goal, then drop it down to a displacement speed of 10.8 knots, which is based on her waterline length. That speed will have her burning an average of 19.5 gallons per hour, as you'll keep going for just under 600 nautical miles, all while still holding back a 10% reserve of the boat's 1,200-gallon total fuel capacity.
And when we're underway, we can also elevate the swim platform. I tell you, when I got offshore in these 15 to 20 mile an hour winds and 2 to 4 foot seas, I expected it was going to be a lot more of an uncomfortable ride than it was, but this is such a solid feeling boat. We had everything set on automatic, auto trim, and the interceptor tabs were doing their thing, and it was just such a comfortable boat all around. No pounding, no hull slap, it was just such a comfortable feeling boat. And a dry ride, surprisingly dry. When I turned it to a beam, I expected every time that the bow would come down that it would have a lot of wander to it, but it didn't. I was just taking my hand off the wheel, arrow straight. I couldn't believe it. Put it into a following seat, again, no wander to it. Boats in a following seat typically have a lot of wander to it. When the following seat gets pushed against the transom, wasn't happening. In a head seat, I was really expecting that we were going to get a lot of water coming over the bow, but there was just none. It was a dry ride and a solid feeling ride. Really remarkable handling boat. There was just so much to like about this boat, especially from an owner-operator standpoint. So checking how the Seakeeper works, we're beam 2 in about 2 to 3 foot seas. Tops we're doing 2 degree, 0, 1 on average. So it's holding us really nicely. Okay, now it's turned off. 5, 5,
some more.
6. Now we'll hit it on, and it immediately calms us down. See it? CL Yachts has done their best to make a user-friendly boat, and that's very important from an owner-operator standpoint. Very comfortable to be on as well. That's another video, so be sure to look for it. For now, this is my sea trial and performance evaluation of the CLB72 from CL Yachts. For BoatTEST.com, I'm Captain Steve. We'll see you on the water.